Hi friends, welcome back to Under a Fontana Beauty. Today we're gonna do, I look kind of a mess right now. Okay, today we're gonna do a get ready with me. I thought this might be fun because there's a little bit of inspiration behind the makeup look that I'm creating. I have a friend who is a photographer and she needs to take some shots for a new branding thing that she's offering. And so she has made a model for her. And so we kind of agreed together on a look. So as you can see, it's gonna be like kind of a moody, I think I'm wearing all neutrals, and I'm wearing the new Diane von Furstenberg dress that I thrifted. I shared it in my thrift haul. So the look we're going for is fresh dewy skin, which we already know I love. A flushed cheek, emphasis on eyebrows and lashes, very natural, fresh, dewy. That's the look. And you're gonna see me create it right now. So, still getting over my cold, so if I sound a little weird, that's why. I haven't touched my brows, which honestly I think they're not that bad, but they could be waxed. So, but I think it's gonna actually play in our favor. So what I'm gonna do is, we're gonna do a soap brow to start. So I have my Pears clear soap, and I'm just gonna spray it with a little bit of Fix Plus. I should zoom in a little bit so you guys can see this a little bit better. Yeah, okay. So I sprayed it, and I'm just gonna get a lot of soap, and we're really gonna like press those brows out. Now, if you do too much soap, you can tell. So I'm really pulling up to create the shape that I want. So start by going up. If you have thick areas like I do, you're really gonna have to get it in there. You see that? So you can obviously see the areas that I'm like growing back in. You might have to go in a few times and respray to get this wet. I like to use Fix Plus for it, not water, because I find that it just helps hold the brows even more. And I'm really getting, you see how that's like really, since we're emphasizing the brows. I like to get a bunch of the soap on one side and then leave the other side of the spoolie really clean, so that I can then like comb out any excess. Okay, so we're brushing everything up and out to really get that fluffy, full look. And then what I like to do is kind of like take the edge of my spoolie and just like calm down the sides, okay? So again, just kind of like anything that's like a little too fluffy. So now we have a really good base to fill in. If you do soap brows, I just like get a little travel case and then keep my little spoolie in there with it, and then it's easy to deal with soap brows. Next, I'm gonna take my NYX Micro Brow Pencil, and I'm using the shade Black, and I wanna focus on filling in this area right here that's just more sparse, and then also a little bit through the front here, but that's all I'm really working on. So, since the brow is pretty fluffy, I'm just doing little hair-like strokes. Just like that. Ta-da! Again. Isn't so much about defined shape as like just full brow. Okay, so now we got a really nice full fluffy brow. So fluffy full brow, check. Next, we want a really dewy base. So we're going in with two of my favorite dewy products. You already know, the Welleda Skin Food and the Lumi Glotion. First, I'm gonna take a little bit of this Welleda Skin Food and put it on the back of my hand just so that I can warm it up because it's pretty thick. And I'm really gonna blend that into the skin. All over. Not putting any on the eyes. I know I get super red. That's just my skin. It'll calm down in a second. Now that we have literally such a moisturized, plumped base, it's a really good start to, because we're actually gonna go foundationless today. What I'm gonna do is now take a beauty blender, which again, I'm gonna spray with Fix Plus, get it nice and wet. And I have a nice little bit of Glotion on the back here. I'm gonna dot this all over the face. And we're gonna blend out the Glotion. I know I very often show how I mix this in with foundation to make a foundation more dewy, but you can use it separately. And I like using it for something like this, the way that I'm using it today, because we're going foundationless. So I actually really like doing it this way. It's gonna pair really well with our concealer. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna use a little bit of cream bronzer before we do concealer. The reason being, we're going foundationless, right? So this is gonna provide some coverage. So we're essentially gonna use concealer in the parts that we want to highlight, or you would traditionally highlight, and then we're gonna use bronzer in the areas that you would traditionally, you know, contour. So I'm gonna take an angled brush, synthetic when you're using cream products, and I'm just tapping it in. This is no longer available, but it's currently in my Shop My Stash, if you wanna think of it that way. So we're essentially just bronzing up the face in the areas we normally would. Now, because we've laid down the moisturizer and the Glotion, every product we put on is gonna blend as if we had foundation on, okay? So if you go in with just dry skin, cream products are not gonna blend as well as you think they're going to. So it's another reason why I love my Wellita. We're warming up the face. Nice. We might go in with a little more once we do our concealer, but for now, it's perfect, okay? So we've got a little coverage. I mean, I'm still a little red from, that's gonna go down. I'm a little red from putting the moisturizer and the Glotion on. So next I'm going with my Nars Creamy Concealer. And concealing where I wanna highlight, okay? So for me, this is also the area where like I actually need coverage. So this is like my acne scarring, kind of the center of the face as well. Sometimes I take a little down here just because I have some redness. Just like that. Back in with that beauty blender that already has Glotion on it, which is also great because it's going to help blend this out. And we're just blending. Okay. Okay. Do you see how we've got more coverage now? Perfect. Again, this is not supposed to be like a super made up look. This is a very dewy, fresh look. Now we're going back in with our cream bronzer, just to continue blending. And then now we're going to set everything with our Pixie Promise palette. Just using a fluffy brush to set everywhere the concealer went. Well, not everywhere. Just the areas where I know I need coverage or I'm gonna get too shiny and I don't want things to crease. So usually that's T-zone. And then anywhere I have scarring that I'm trying to cover. Just like that. Okay? I'm even going to take a little bit of this and put it on my lids. Just so that they're like set and good. Okay? Next we're going to move in to blush. And we're going to use my trusty favorite, Juicy. Because I just really love it. Now I'm doing this with my sponge and like building up a flush. You see that difference? I mean, I have a little bit of a natural flush, but I want this to be really like subtle and spread out. So this is how we're creating it. We're just like slowly building it up. Yeah, see how that's just like kind of dewy and fresh? It's a little more like, a little bigger than I would typically wear my blush. If that makes sense, like it's kind of more spread out. Maybe I'm gonna put some across the nose just to kind of yeah, blush. Oh, I'm obsessed. Now I'm even gonna take as like the base on my eyes. See how I did that? Just kind of like a wash of, I'm just doing it on the smaller portion. Ooh, yeah. Again, everything's really soft and blended. Nothing's too harsh, but we're just getting this all over warm tone. Dewy and flush. Okay, it's totally the vibe I was going for. I might even also want to add a little bit. I'm gonna put like the slightest, I just want like a little bit more of a like a specific highlighter instead of just being dewy all over. So I put the tiniest little drop of this Glotion. And again, going in with the tip of this sponge and just like adding it right here. See that? Same thing on the other side, just at the high point, right here on the cheek. I just want to be so dewy. Yes, 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 yes. Obsessed. What else do I want to do? Honestly, I'm going to take a little bit of another little drop, but I'm going to use my ring finger instead, and we're going to do the center of our lids right here. Just like that. I'm going to pick up in the light. Hopefully you can see it on camera. Just to bring a little bit of extra, I can see it in person. And if I move side to side, you can see how that just adds a little extra dimension to the lid, just right in the center. And then what I'm actually going to do before this has a chance to crease, we're going to close. Set the crap out of our face, and then we are going to build up these lashes. That's our last step. And then that's gonna be the makeup. It's just flushed, dewy. I know I look super crazy right now because it's really wet, but BRB. We're gonna let this dry for a second. So you can see we're like super dewy and dry, and like the skin just looks really nice and smooth. Exactly what we want. Time to build up these lashes. I'm actually super excited about this. So, as you can see now, the eyes aren't creasing because we sprayed them. Tricks. I'm going to curl the lashes, tilt up, and then let a little bit out, and then curl again, tilt up. That's how you get a good curl. See the difference? Same thing on the other side. So like normally we curl like this, tilt it up and like push it into your socket. Shouldn't hurt though. And then release a little bit. You don't want like one stark curl, you want multiple. So I like to start with the base all the way up. And then you get a more rounded curl. Gotta go to my trusty Laura Mercier Caviar Volume when I need volume and lashiness. So we're gonna apply a lot of thin coats, okay? So it's our first super thin coat. I don't ever show you guys the mascara portion of this, of looks. Okay, so we got one coat on, and then I'm not putting any extra. Just gonna put a little bit on the bottom lashes. Then we're gonna go back in for coat number 2 and coat number 3. Again, these are all super thin coats. Do you see that? We're even gonna do a 4th. And then what I'm gonna do is wait for this to dry all the way, and maybe like an hour. So right before I leave for the photo shoot, I'm gonna curl them and then set my face one more time once it's dry. Don't ever use setting spray when you have wet mascara because you will end up with it all under your eyes. It's the finished look. Lashy, fresh, smooth, dewy skin. I'm obsessed. And I even slept with my hair in a French braid so that I would have some nice, easy waves. Again, this whole look of this is effortless and simple. So it's the look. What do you think? I love it. All right, I'm gonna see you in my next video. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.